Well, in a family of 7, 5 took music very seriously, but in fact none wanted to go professional. Of course, we all got this interest from my father, who played the violin and who made us have family prayer meetings every day. It was his leadership of singing, and to this day I remember the songs he taught us. And he made us sing in what he called parts. Today we would say singing in harmony. But we caught on with it very well, and that was our early beginnings. Well, just before World War II, I began to find myself playing on my brother's guitar and picking it up on my own and managing to sort of learn to play chords mainly. I didn't know that one plays melody on the guitar because everybody thinks of the guitar as an accompanying instrument. And then I came across a book which belonged to my brother called Ellis Through School with a Guitar. Every page had a picture of 3 chords belonging to one particular key. You played the scale or 2 octaves of the scale, and then you played a little piece that required melody playing as well as harmony playing. And it was that very book I depended on, because at that time, in those days, let's say 1935, 1940, that period, you couldn't go for guitar lessons to anybody or anywhere. You just had to pick it up yourself and learn by yourself. So I taught myself, in fact, to be very honest, to play the guitar as best as I could and with whatever facilities I then had. Now, my brother Paul was then conducting the training and conducting the Singapore Youth Orchestra. And they didn't have any young persons who were handling the double bass. And then my brother came to me and said one day, hey, we will lend you a double bass provided you will take lessons and join the Singapore Youth Orchestra. Now, one man who changed my life a lot was Ferry Krempel, wonderful Hungarian man. He was like a father to me. And he brought me up in music, making me know the double bass for what it is, giving strength to an orchestra, playing scales, playing tunes, going through grade 4 at first, grade 5. He thought the world of me and I thought the world of him. Now, Ferry Campbell made me study theory, made me study practical on the double bass, and he was very proud because I was the first person, not only in Singapore but in Southeast Asia, to have taken the double bass right up to the licentiate of the Royal Schools of Music exams, which I passed successfully. I enjoyed being a school teacher because I love children till this day, and I was a successful school teacher. And although I never went to university, I ended up with the salary of a university graduate because I was thought to be a first-class teacher. And I always kept the teaching profession number 1 and left my music making as my number 2. So I really couldn't do anything else during my free hours than playing music. It was either doing my school teaching work and marking, correcting books and so on and so on and so on, or playing in this orchestra or that orchestra. Mind you, I played in many Singapore orchestras. I kept an interest in the classical guitar as well. And I found it needed more push, more education for people who like the instrument and so on. And that got me starting to form the first ever Singapore Classical Guitar Society. When I entered there, I was asked to choose two main studies. Well, I chose voice first, and then I chose double bass as second. And then I found that you can ask for a third study paying extra money, and the third study, of course, I chose classical guitar. Well, when I had my first lesson, to my big surprise, it was John Williams, and I had, of course, hadn't heard of him. He was a young man, younger than I was. I was in my, let's say, early 30s. He was in his early 20s, though they called him professor, and I called him professor. And he was quite happy to see somebody from this side of the world coming there to learn guitar. So he knew I was very interested. The two big names in British guitar music making were John Williams and Julian Bream. And I was very happy that I not only made acquaintance but had lessons for 18 months from John Williams. I found that I needed to promote the instrument, because at that time Yamaha was hardly into the scene. And Yamaha, by the way, was the first of companies that started going into teaching music privately, right? And so I decided, all right, if they have this school like Yamaha doing teaching of piano, of course, and then violin, of course, and then guitar, of course, but that's not good enough. I felt, let's start a classical guitar society, and in '67, I started this with a lady who is now Lady Hebditch, and together we felt, all right, let's form the guitar society. And so, with her interest and support, we formed the first in history Singapore Classical Guitar Society. Now, our society went on for 25 years with the support of the government. And I used to bring in roughly 8 or 7 international well-known classical guitarists to perform in concerts here. Therefore, the exposure of our members to world-class players was there, and they could get master classes also from them. From my knowledge of learning the double bass and of course playing the guitar, I was one of the first few people in Singapore who began to write for the instrument. Arrangements first for ensemble work, and later on with the Nibori instruments coming in, arrangements again. From arrangements I graduated to, if I may use the word, to write my own works. Not many, but I had to make them significant to fit into the programs I was doing. We had a boy in NUS who was a very good guitarist, but then suddenly he changed from GUI to SI, and that is he played sitar. And I said, hey, you're playing the sitar? He said, yes. I said, oh, maybe I can write something for sitar and our guitar orchestra. And he said, yes. When I got thinking more on it, I decided that I'll have a work for not only sitar but erhu. You see? So Here I have two instruments, the erhu, the Chinese erhu, and the Indian sitar. And I wrote for them as soloist with the guitar ensemble of the NUS Guitar Club. And it was fun, it was real fun. Very happy that the government was recognizing the guitar as a standard instrument, and they were recognizing the people who like to play the guitar. And for me, getting the medallion meant that I had shown leadership, of course, and I had brought to their notice this instrument, and I was going to carry on doing it. And so it was a recognition which, though I knew I had earned, more important than that was their recognition of the numbers who play this instrument. I have accompanied singers, I have accompanied harmonica players, and I have accompanied various people on various instruments with the guitar, when they prefer the sound of the guitar rather than the sound of a piano, which is quite normal for when you have duo music or trio music. So I was very happy for the government's recognition of the instrument, and especially of the role that it plays in the community. Once a year we bring all the guitar college clubs from universities, colleges and schools. Once a year we bring them together and we enjoy each other's performances. Now this is very important to keep the interest going on in schools, colleges and our universities, you see. The follow-up would be, let's have a house for everyone who likes the guitar, where people can meet, where we can have a library. Mind you, I'm now, like I mentioned, 80 plus, and I've got in that room a lot of guitar scores which I've never seen. Not only scores, but CDs and gramophone records and you name it. Every textbook that has been written about the guitar is inside that room. So I want to transfer the whole thing into this home so that there's a guitar library. Somehow I feel that I worked for the government as a school teacher, yes, as a school principal, yes, as a school inspector, yes. And I was a very strict school inspector in every sense of the word. But then music, and especially the promotion of the guitar, became my second love, if I may say, my second job, which I enjoy doing. So now I am still at this one, the second one, which is promoting the guitar, and I feel I would very much like to see this one which I mentioned just now getting a home, and I look forward to more people playing Nibori guitars. So my interest in the guitar has gone into the production, encouraging people to produce guitars, soprano, alto, prime, bass, contrabass, guitar on. And this way we will have established everything one can do with a guitar orchestra.